Morning. There, I started it for you.
Good morning, bird brains. Welcome to a cold truck vlog. I really wanted to get you guys something on the bike today, but it is 40 degrees today, so what are you gonna do? I know, go ahead and type it out. It's 40 degrees, I rode when it's negative 16 with soft on the ground. Whatever.
Plus, I'm here.
Oh yeah, and I brought the favorite.
I'm here.
Mrs. Bird. I feel like you just did that because I didn't introduce you.
Rude.
I mean, everyone knows who you are. This is the first video with your new her.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I'm not cheating, guys. This is my wife. And then, I don't know if you can see her, but we also got Iris! Iris! She likes rides, so we figured we'd bring her along on today's video. And before anyone says it, yes, I am drinking iced coffee. So is she, but
we're basic.
You get hot coffee quite often. I almost never get hot coffee. It has to be like 30 degrees for me to get hot coffee.
Yeah, that's true. We're complaining about that it's cold and then we're drinking iced coffee.
Yeah. Before you click off this video thinking that we're just blabbing along, we do have a theme for today's video. It is our favorite moments from 2019 and our New Year's resolution for 2020. But before we get into that, I do need to do a little update for you guys regarding the build series and the welder that you guys just saw. So build series is still on schedule as of now. I did have to work around the budget somehow because of the welder situation. I'm gonna tell you about here in a second, but I'm hoping I can still stay on schedule. The next episode, episode 4, is definitely coming out on time. It's episode 5 and episode 6 that might either get pushed back or have a gap, a longer gap in between them. So the reason why I am, how can I put this, over budget already. It's not over budget on the build, but I did something really stupid when I ordered the welder. So I ordered the welder, the plasma cutter, and the welding cart all from eastwood.com. They're the company that makes and sells those products. So after I ordered them all at once. One order came through. It was like $20.80, something like that, just over $2,000. I wanted to write that down in my business books to keep track of, you know, what I spend and things like that. So I went online and I logged in my account and I saw that it charged in 2 separate charges. And I was like, So I added up the amounts and it came out to just over $2,000, just like the charge was. So I wrote those down separately just because that's how it comes up on my bank statement. So I wanted to keep them separate. I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm over it, whatever. A couple days later, I went on to see, because I ended up being under budget for all the welding supplies I needed. I didn't know exactly how much under I was, so I went to my bank to see how much I had left to spend from the X amount of dollars that I put in there for that. And it was over $1,000. I was like, damn, I must have done awesome. Like, I really did some shopping around because I ordered on Black Friday. So I did get, I think it was like 40% off, 30% off, something like that. I was like, damn, I kicked ass. I really, you know, did awesome on this budget. So I was like, well, now I have $900 left over. What else is on my list I need to buy? So I went on my list of things that were not in the build series budget. I keep that separate. I bought a new clutch for the dirt bike. I didn't do a video on that just because I had no idea what I was doing and I just need to get it done quick. So I got the Recluse for the dirt bike. We bought tickets for races next year at the Circuit of the Americas. That's kind of something that we like to do. So that right there was like $1,000. And then I get an email the very next day from Eastwood saying, hey, this is after I've already unboxed the welder. I've already uploaded the video for you guys when I get this email. Said, hey, we tried to charge your card for order number blah, 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 and it was declined. And I was like, I paid you guys like 2 weeks ago. So I go back into my bank statement. Turns out when they charged separately, one of them was for the plasma cutter and the cart, which shipped out of one warehouse. The other one was for the welder, which shipped out of a different warehouse. But it wasn't an actual charge, it was a credit hold. So in between when I went on to see that credit hold and when I went to check in on how much I had over budget or under budget, they had reversed that credit hold. So essentially, I spent all that money that they released on the credit hold, and then when they tried to charge it, that money was no longer there. So I had to take a little bit of money out of the build series to make sure. They gave me 3 days to pay up. 3 days to pay up or I was gonna get sent to collections. So kind of had to make some emergency swaps around to get that taken care of. But like I said, it shouldn't cause any problems, but in case you want to help that, you can go down a link down below, patreon.com. Make sure that build series stays on schedule. I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not. Please give me money.
I mean, the moral of the story is, if you think that you have extra money, you don't. There's no such thing as extra money.
Usually I have a better idea of where I'm at under budget, but for that I had so many purchases coming from so many different directions. That's why I logged onto my bank statement to see what it was. But anyways, that's the whole ordeal. And then to top it all off, I was like, I don't have anything to do. I'm gonna go practice welding. So I get my pieces all ground down, cleaned up. I get my ground set. I'm like, all right, everything's good. I get all my safety equipment on, and then I go to plug in the welder, and it turns out I don't have the plug that I thought I had installed in the garage. So that's gonna be another $600 to do that.
So if you wanna help, click the link down below.
Enough of us blabbing. Let's blab about the topic that we're here to talk about, and that would be the top 3.
Top 3 of 2019?
Top 3 of 2019.
We each get a top 3, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You go first.
I have to use phone assistance for this.
Oh, God.
Number 3 for me is gonna be the trip to Arkansas. That was such a fun trip, and we had an amazing place to stay. I loved that little cabin thing on the lake that we stayed at, and it was busy but very relaxed. Like, we had things to do, but when we were done, you know, going for the ride or, you know, whatever we had to do that day, we could, you know, go out to eat and relax and just hang out with our friends. And your parents got to go with us on that trip, and I do love spending time with our family as well. So that for me is number 3.
I feel like the Arkansas trip was like the trip that we deserved after dealing with the Big Ben nonsense.
And it's crazy because I love the Big Ben trip.
Oh yeah, it was a great time.
I loved it.
But part of what made it so fun was all the shit that went down.
Right. You had a really crazy trip. Let's take it slow here for a minute and have that happen. So that was good. Do you want to do your number 3, or you want me to go number 3? Okay, you go number 3.
I'm trying not to use phone assistance since I just made fun of you for it. Number 3 for me would have to be our IMS trip. That was the very first week of January, which, by the way, we will be there this year. So first weekend in January, Dallas, up at the convention center thing there. We will be there along with Uncle Ken and Roblox at least. I don't know if the other guys are going, but at least those 2 guys. And I do believe we'll be up there for the entire weekend. I know I got that Friday off. I don't know if you got that Friday off, but we might be there for media days as well as just the regular events that are going on during that. We're also hoping to meet up with our buddy Chris Moose from Moosecraft to go check out his shop and play around with all his toys. So that's
such a cool guy.
Really fun. But yeah, IMS was a great time. We had meetups with subscribers. We had a little after party with Adam Sandoval and Fast Life Garage. It was just a really cool laid back event, and then of course seeing all of the bikes and everything at the actual IMS. It's fun because you're kind of doing both a personal vacation, because we get to drive, you know, 5 hours to go to the big city of Dallas, and then we get to check out all the cool bikes, which is fun for us personally, but also gives us content for videos and podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So that was my number 3.
Sweet.
Number 2.
So before I give my number 2 though,
Before you give your number 2.
Can I disqualify a couple events that happened?
Sure.
So I feel like for both of us, it would be hard to have 3 separate favorites with 2 major events happening this year. Mm-hmm. That would be us going to Jamaica.
Yeah.
For our honeymoon and our wedding. Obviously, those are, if I had to pick, you know, 2, that would be it, but I want to do some.
But if you had to pick, which one would you pick first?
Between the wedding and Jamaica? Oh man, the wedding was so much fun, but Jamaica?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
It was an all-inclusive resort, and we were there and just relaxed the whole time. So I have to give it to Jamaica.
I mean,
it's freaking Jamaica, man. Come on, like...
Come on. Jamaica, man.
Jamaica, man. So I want to say that those are obviously the top events, but I'm going to disqualify them from this list so we can have unique selections.
That's fair.
So I'm going to go with the world record ride as my number 2. I feel like I just took his number 2 or number 1. World record ride.
Yeah, we should have coordinated this better.
I know. No, this is good. This is good. This is fun. It was such an amazing event, and I can't even believe how many bikes there were. It hurts my brain to think about how many bikes there were at that event, and the fact that no matter how I looked at it, there's no physical way that I could have even seen all the bikes. Even the drone footage, I feel like
you couldn't get them all in the drone.
It does not do it justice.
For those who don't know, those drone shots that I took, the highest ones, when you're flying drones, you're capped at 400 feet by the FAA. So those high drone shots were 400 feet up. That's over a football field up in the air, and it could not get all the bikes in one shot.
Yeah, it was insane. Outside of just the event being what it is, I felt like this year was a little bit bigger maybe for you too.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So being able to meet everyone who watches the videos and everyone who supports the channel it's a really special thing. And
yeah. Also, where we stayed made a big change too, because last year when we didn't make the record, it was just me, the missus, and Uncle Kim. We got a little cabin outside of Paris, so we were
and that
far
was
away.
fun.
It was fun. It was a great cabin.
Yeah.
It was far, but it was far away from everything. This year we stayed at the casino, so we got to spend our nights hanging out with basically our friends as well as subscribers, because we would run into them at the casino and they'd buy us drinks and we sit there and talk, and I mean, we got to spend some really quality time with some fans, as well as like John Maxwell was there with us. So I mean, it was a great time.
I don't know where I get this from, but I love to gamble, and like there's no one in my family, like my mom or my dad or my parents or anything, like nobody gambles. There's not even casinos really up there where I'm from, but I get on a roll, and I feel like towards the end of the night it was super late, and like Maxwell and Justin were just like standing on the side like waiting for me to be done gambling, and I was on the roulette table, I was still going, and I was like, maybe I'll just, you know, bet it all, and they're like, yeah, bet it all, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going.
Man,
I enjoy it, but thank you to Maxwell and Justin for just standing there while I continued to gamble and they're just like, you know, tired as hell.
Yeah.
But
also, Maxwell carried his helmet around the entire time. He's like, I don't want to go to my room, thinking like it was, you know, on the other side of the property. No, it was like right above the casino.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
What it is. Anyway, we broke a world record. That's so cool. It was so cool to be a part of that. I had a great time. It was a great trip.
Met a lot of awesome people.
Yes. You're number 2.
All right, so my number 2, even though it happened very recently, was completing my first enduro race. Although it was only a short 45-minute video on the channel, I've been prepping for that race since July. A good chunk of the year had been focused on that moment. I mean, I went from, if you guys go back and watch the first dirt bike video, I mean, we were winded within the first 15 minutes, and I kicked my own ass in the gym. I started eating better. I was doing 3 or 4 hours of cardio a week just to get myself prepped for this race, and I stuck to it, and even though I did terrible, I finished, and that was one of my goals. And like I mentioned in the video, it made me such a better rider for riding for 3.5 hours, and I'm so excited for next season. And yeah, it was a big milestone for me, I think, just because it was a stretch goal. I mean, I went from not riding for 11 years to competing in my first race in like 4 months. So I mean, it was a goal that I set for myself, and I was not going to let myself not do it. So finishing that race was a pretty big deal for me.
Good job.
Woo!
Da 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 da! Number 1. So all of these things are pretty equal, but what I will say as my number 1 moment from this year was the whole weekend that we did the Lone Star Rally in Galveston and the F1 race in Austin. What an insane weekend.
You guys have no idea how much talking into I had to do to get her to do that. She is not a go, go, go kind of person, when I'm usually not either, but I think I'm kind of getting more into that, like, let's squeeze every ounce of fun out of these 3 days as we can.
I feel like I can do that if it's every now and then. If I was doing that all the time, I would just get so burnt out. I am the type of person that likes to relax. So this weekend really pushed me outside of my comfort zone in more than one way. So going to Galveston was the first time that I've taken a long distance trip on the bike. And it was what, like 46 degrees when we left? Or
no, it was 34 degrees when we left.
Okay, so it was freaking cold. I was grumpy and it was cold, and it was so much fun though. And we met with his parents because they got this huge place for us all to stay in with his sister and their family, and Ken came with us. And again, I just love being able to have that time and spend time with family. You got to do some really cool stuff. You got to ride the live wire.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
And you got to go on your special trip. You know, it was longer than anybody else.
Yeah, it did.
And that was cool. After the rally, which the rally was insane.
The rally was so insane.
I mean, it was so busy. Again, we got to go to the Zero tent and we got to meet people who watch the channel and support. That's a huge thing. I feel like that's what I really enjoy the most, because those are like my top events, is when we get to do that. And then after the rally, we slept, woke up early the next morning.
We slept for like 6 hours.
Yeah, not long at all, because we wanted to hang out with everybody. Woke up and rode back to Austin with like 20 minutes before the Formula One race started.
We cut it very close.
So close. And what was I gonna say? I can cut this out. I have to think. Oh, I got it. I remember now.
I'm not cutting that out.
I wish you would. What made this year's Formula, this is the second time we've been to Formula One race. This year we followed F1 much more closely. I feel like I might even like it more than you. Like,
it's very close.
I love watching F1 on Sunday mornings. That's my jam. And so it was way more special to see the riders and to watch the race. I was way more involved with the racers. Oh, I said riders, huh? To watch the racers, and I was way more involved this year, so I felt like I had just a different perspective on what they're doing. I'm remembering like when we first got there, they were doing like their warm-up lap, and I saw them and I was like, wow, those cars are so shiny. They're so shiny.
And then like the very next lap, I had forgotten I even said that, and then I hear she leans over next to me, she goes, they are so shiny.
It's just crazy to put it in perspective, because we spent the whole season watching it at home, and it was the second.
We watched 19 races at home.
Yeah, was it the second to last race? They had Austin and then Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so.
No. They had Austin, then Brazil, then Abu Dhabi.
So it's the third to last race, but it was so cool. Busy weekend.
We got to see Lewis Hamilton clinch the championship, his 6th championship.
Yep. Not even a Lewis Hamilton fan, but like I feel like you have to be, because he's one
of those guys you can't hate.
God, he's such a good guy.
Yeah. He's like the JJ Watt. He's like the JJ Watt of Formula One. Like he does so much charity work. He's always thanking his team. Like he's not cocky, and then he's got the skill to back it all up. So. You gotta respect him, dude. He's a legend.
You ready for your number one?
My number one. So my number one, even though it did come with a lot of controversy.
Controversy?
Controversy. I don't know why I was trying to like say it as it's like spelled. Controversy. Yeah. Anyways, would be the completion of the Battle Donkey. Like I said, came with some controversy because of the whole decal situation. You gotta grow, man.
You gotta change that decal.
No, I'm just saying you gotta grow. You gotta accept the criticism. You can't be so self-centered that you can't admit when you're wrong. That goes against everything that I believe in. So when I got called out for that bullshit decal, I let it sit for a little bit. just to see, because I mean, I explained it in that video. The way that I did the render, it looked great because it was on a white background.
It did.
When you took it off the white background, it no longer looked great. So
I can vouch for that. In the render, it looked awesome with that decal.
And now I've learned, and now every time I do a render, I swap out the background colors to see if it's going to look good in other situations. So, but yeah, just to see that project, definitely the biggest project I had done so far. I mean, we took the motor apart even. That was a first for the channel. I learned so much. It was my first time working on a bagger platform. You got to be pretty heavily involved in that, especially with the wrap job. And then just the amount of compliments that we've got on that bike has just been outlandish. I mean, the amount of, like, it's getting to the point now where, I mean, it's been almost a year now. I'm just like, yeah, I did that bike. So having people come up and be like, oh my God, that bike looks so good. It's just like, oh yeah, that's right, I did that.
I forgot, yeah.
I made that. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to see people really enjoy it and get some ideas for themselves, and just more people working on their own bikes and, you know, toying around the garage. I enjoy that. So that would have to be my number one. All right, so this video's probably been going on for a long while, so let's make our resolutions short.
Okay, so my resolutions for 2019.
2020.
Start over. So my resolutions for 2020, I have a couple, and they kind of fit into personal, professional, and health goals.
Oh Jesus, okay.
Right? So
I have like one.
I'll only give like one from each category because I have.
Time out. Look at Iris. Looks like an angel.
Oh, look at the little angel. As far as health goes, we've been working out more, so that's great. I want to focus more on portion control, and I want to drink more water.
Oh God, she drinks like 8 ounces of water a month. Like, she is the worst.
It's so bad. Like, how do people like it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, oh, and I can't put, everybody's like, no, get those little squeezable or the pourable things that make it flavored. Like, no, that tastes like cancer. So I can't do that. I can't squirt that 0 calorie crap into it. I'm just gonna bite the bullet and drink the freaking water. That's it. Professional, I would like to receive a promotion next year. And then personal, by next year, I would like to be, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm working towards my bachelor's degree. So I want to be 90% to getting my degree by the end of next year. I might not be at 100, and that's okay. The other thing I want to learn how to do is edit videos, such as this one. Yeah,
I mentioned on the channel, she's kind of toying around with the idea of creating her own channel. And I think the editing has kind of been her main hurdle, just because she doesn't like to learn from me, and I'm a terrible teacher. So there's nothing wrong with admitting what you're bad at. I'm shitty at teaching. I'm more of a shower, not a teacher.
Anyway, I really could, if you keep pointing that thing in my eye, I swear.
What?
It keeps blinding me.
Sorry.
I forgot what I was gonna say. So go ahead. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I really only had 2, but now I feel like I need 3 to match yours. So my first one is that I would like to compete in as many off-road races as I can next year. So I think on the calendar, I think there's like 20 or 22, something like that, races for the 2020 season. I would like to compete in as many of those as possible. And I've already paid for all of them. I got in on their, it wasn't a Black Friday deal, it was like a pre-season sale to where you could buy all of them, and it ended up being like 40% off. So even if I only do half, I'm still making money. But anyways, I would like to compete in as many of those races because I would like to finish a full season and have a contention at the season championship. I know that a very big goal based off of how I performed the last time, but what's giving me that confidence is that, one, this isn't a enduro series, it's more of a sprint series, so it's a lap format kind of deal, and the races are timed, so you race pretty much as hard as you can for an hour and a half, and that's that. So I feel like if I distribute my energy better more in that hour and a half as opposed to just like focusing on making it to the finish line. I think I can do a little bit better. Plus, with all the practice I've been getting, I feel like I have a chance. And this series is broken down into different classes. So there's technically a D class, which I fall into. Maybe, I think that's what I was told to sign up for, so that's what I went for. But there's a chance that I could be moving up to C depending on how the first 2 races go. Anyways, that's how they handle all the new guys. That is one of my main goals. And then my second main goal would be to really hone in on, well, first off, learn how to TIG weld, and then really hone in on my welding and fabricating skills. That way I can end up potentially making something really cool, whether they be bike related or not. I just want to make something really cool that makes the internet go, oh shit. So
that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And then of course, as always, I just want to continue to make fun, different, interesting content for you guys, because I know that's something I get a lot of compliments on, is it's never the same. There's never, you never fall into a rut in this channel. You're always kind of jumping around. So I want to continue doing that and focus doing more of that in 2020. Anything else?
Iris, do you have any goals for next year?
What are your goals, baby?
What do you want to do?
She just wants to climb all over my jacket. That's all she wants to do. Yeah.
That's fine. She can do that. She's already doing a great job.
Yeah.
Good job, Iris. High five.
Already nailed it. All right. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Sorry it wasn't a motorcycle related. Hopefully it'll warm up sooner. Actually, it's gonna be 80 degrees tomorrow, and we're heading out on the dirt bikes with some of the OG crew, so hopefully we'll get some pretty dope content from that. Other than that, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.